Former U.S. President Donald Trump reportedly canceled a planned visit by Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner to Pakistan for negotiations with Iran. In an interview, Trump stated that the delegation had been preparing to depart, but he intervened, arguing that an 18-hour flight was unnecessary. He emphasized that the United States already holds sufficient leverage and that Iran could initiate contact if it were genuinely interested in negotiations. According to Trump, there was no reason to undertake such a trip merely to engage in unproductive discussions. Meanwhile, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi departed Pakistan following talks with the country's prime minister. This sequence of events suggests that two separate diplomatic initiatives failed, one disrupted by Iran and the other by the United States, raising broader questions about the viability of such negotiations.
An analytical standpoint, the fundamental obstacle lies in the incompatibility of demands. Iran is unable to satisfy the conditions set by the United States and Israel, while the United States and Israel, in turn, cannot meet Iran's demands. Under such circumstances, although back-channel or covert negotiations may be ongoing, as is often the case in international diplomacy, these do not necessarily indicate a pathway toward a comprehensive peace agreement. Instead, the situation is characterized by escalating mutual threats. The United States has traditionally warned of overwhelming military action against Iran, while Iran has signaled its readiness to retaliate not only against the United States and Israel, but also against their regional allies. Crucially, Iran has indicated the potential escalation toward what can be described as infrastructure warfare. Infrastructure warfare represents a highly destructive form of conflict that, while not nuclear, may approximate the scale of devastation associated with pre-nuclear escalation phases. This form of warfare targets critical nodes of the global system, including both visible and invisible infrastructures. Geography plays a decisive role in this context. Strategic choke points, such as the Suez Canal, Panama Canal, Bosporus Strait, Dardanelles, Strait of Malacca, and Strait of Hormuz, have historically been central to great power competition and conflict. Control over such routes has repeatedly triggered wars, as illustrated by past confrontations involving major powers. However, beyond these visible choke points lies a less apparent but equally critical domain: undersea infrastructure. Submarine cables, which carry approximately 90% of global internet traffic, form the backbone of modern civilization. These cables support not only communication but also financial systems, military coordination, and energy infrastructure. A disruption of these cables, potentially through targeted sabotage, could have catastrophic consequences. Without physically bombing cities, such an attack could effectively paralyze entire societies by disabling electricity grids, communications, and economic systems. Humanity's dependence on these interconnected systems makes them highly vulnerable. Iran has reportedly signaled that in the event of an attack on its critical infrastructure, such as nuclear facilities or industrial assets, it could retaliate by targeting undersea cables and regional infrastructure, including water systems. Such actions would render affected areas largely uninhabitable and trigger cascading systemic failures. This dynamic contributes to a broader escalation logic. While the United States continues to project power in the region, including the deployment of multiple aircraft carriers, it faces operational constraints. Despite rhetoric about enforcing a blockade on Iranian oil exports, the practical implementation of such measures remains limited. Iranian oil tankers, for instance, reportedly operate close to coastal zones, moving along Iranian and Pakistani shores before reaching markets such as India. This coastal routing complicates interception efforts, as it reduces exposure to U.S. naval forces and increases the risks associated with direct engagement. Moreover, Iran possesses asymmetric capabilities that further complicate U.S. military operations. These include large numbers of high-speed attack craft, often described as a swarm or mosquito fleet, equipped with missile systems and heavy weaponry. Operating from concealed coastal positions, these vessels can rapidly launch coordinated attacks against larger naval assets. In such scenarios, even advanced platforms like aircraft carriers, effectively floating cities, become vulnerable. The speed and scale of swarm attacks, combined with missile and drone technologies, reduce response times and increase the probability of damage. While some attacking units may be neutralized, the overall impact could still be significant. This reflects a broader transformation in warfare. Traditional instruments of power projection, such as large armored formations or carrier strike groups, are increasingly challenged by new technologies, including drones, precision missiles, and AI-enabled targeting systems. These developments shift the balance towards smaller, more agile, and decentralized forms of military capability. Consequently, assets that once symbolized overwhelming power are now also high-value targets. The potential destruction or disabling of such assets would carry profound political consequences, making decision makers more cautious in their deployment. In this context, the effectiveness of traditional U.S. power projection tools appears increasingly constrained, particularly in highly contested environments such as the Persian Gulf.